Story 1. I never thought working at a museum would be this stressful. I've been a security guard at the Metropolitan History Museum for about 3 years now. It's usually pretty peaceful, mostly just making sure kids don't touch the exhibits and reminding people not to use flash photography. I actually love this job because I get to learn about history every day and help preserve these incredible artifacts for future generations. The museum has this amazing new exhibit featuring ancient Roman sculptures that are over 2,000 years old. These pieces survived wars, natural disasters, and centuries of time. They're literally priceless. My supervisor made it very clear that these artifacts are extremely fragile, and under no circumstances should anyone get too close to them. That's why we have those velvet rope barriers. They're not just for decoration. So there I was on a busy Saturday afternoon, standing near the main centerpiece of the exhibit, this beautiful marble statue of a Roman goddess. Families were walking around, taking photos from the appropriate distance, and everything was going smoothly. Then she walked in. This woman, probably in her 30s, was dressed like she was going to some fancy brunch instead of a museum. She had her phone out and was already taking selfies before she even looked at any of the exhibits. She walked straight up to the Roman goddess statue and immediately started complaining. "Karen, this lighting is terrible. How am I supposed to get a good photo with these shadows?" I watched as she moved around the barrier, trying different angles with her phone. She was getting a little too close for my comfort. "Ma'am, please make sure you stay behind the velvet ropes. These artifacts are very fragile." "Karen, I'm not touching anything. I'm just trying to get a decent photo. This setup is ridiculous." She continued taking photos, but I could see she was getting frustrated. She kept sighing loudly and making comments about how the museum didn't understand social media. Then she started eyeing the statue like she was planning something. "Karen, you know what? I need to get up there for a better angle. This photo needs to be perfect." My heart nearly stopped when I realized what she was suggesting. "Ma'am, you absolutely cannot climb on or near the artifacts. These pieces are over 2,000 years old and irreplaceable." "Karen, I'm not going to hurt your stupid statue. I just need to get up there for like 2 seconds. It's for my Instagram. I have over 10,000 followers." I understand you want a good photo, but these are priceless historical artifacts. The barriers are there for their protection. I can help you find a good angle from where you're standing. That's when she completely lost it. "Karen, this is ridiculous. I'm a paying customer, and I should be able to get the photos I want. Do you know how much I paid for admission?" The admission fee doesn't include the right to damage historical artifacts. "Ma'am, please calm down." "Karen, don't tell me to calm down. I want to speak to your manager right now. This is unacceptable customer service." Other visitors were starting to stare. I could see families with kids backing away from the commotion. This woman was causing a scene in a place that's supposed to be educational and peaceful. I can call my supervisor, but the rules about the artifacts won't change. These policies exist to preserve history. "Karen, I don't care about your stupid policies. I need this photo, and I'm going to get it." Before I could react, she grabbed the velvet rope and tried to step over the barrier. I quickly moved to block her path. "Ma'am, you need to stop right there. I cannot allow you to get any closer to the exhibit." "Karen, get out of my way. You're just a security guard. You can't stop me." She tried to push past me, and in her rage, she knocked over one of the barrier posts. The velvet rope fell to the ground with a loud thud that echoed through the gallery. Now everyone was definitely staring. "Ma'am, you need to leave the exhibit area immediately, or I'll have to call the police." "Karen, the police? Over a stupid photo? You people are insane." That's when my supervisor showed up. He must have heard the commotion from his office. "Supervisor, what's going on here?" Karen immediately started her sob story. "Karen, your employee is being completely unreasonable. I just wanted to take a photo, and he's threatening to call the police on me. This is harassment." My supervisor looked at the knocked-over barrier, then at me, then at her. "Supervisor, Ma'am, did you attempt to climb over the barrier to get closer to the artifacts? Karen, I barely touched anything. This is blown way out of proportion. Supervisor, and did you knock over this barrier post? Karen, that was an accident. Your employee was blocking me. My supervisor's expression got very serious. Supervisor, ma'am, I'm going to have to ask you to leave the museum immediately. Attempting to breach artifact barriers is a serious offense. Karen, you can't kick me out. I paid to be here. Supervisor, your admission can be refunded at the front desk. Security will escort you out. That's when she really went nuclear. Karen, this is discrimination. I'm going to sue this place. I'm going to leave reviews everywhere. You'll be hearing from my lawyer. 2 more security guards arrived to help escort her out. She continued screaming about her rights and threatening lawsuits all the way to the exit. The other visitors looked relieved when she was finally gone. After she left, my supervisor helped me fix the barrier and checked the statue for any damage. Thankfully, everything was fine. Supervisor, good job handling that situation. Some people just don't understand that these artifacts are irreplaceable. About a week later, my supervisor called me into his office with a big smile on his face. Supervisor, remember that woman from last week? The one who wanted to climb on the Roman statue? Me, how could I forget? Supervisor, well, apparently she did follow through on posting about us online. She made a video complaining about the museum and posted it on social media. My heart sank. Bad publicity is never good for a museum. Supervisor, but here's the thing, the video backfired completely. People in the comments are calling her entitled and praising the museum for protecting historical artifacts. The video has actually brought us more positive attention than we've had in months. He showed me some of the comments on her video. People were shocked that someone would try to climb on ancient artifacts for a photo. Many commented that they wanted to visit our museum specifically because we take preservation seriously. Karen's attempt to shame us online ended up being the best advertising we could have asked for. Sometimes the entitled behavior of one person can remind everyone else why rules exist in the first place. Story 2. I've been working as a driving examiner at the Department of Motor Vehicles for about 8 years now. I thought I'd seen everything: nervous teenagers, overconfident college kids, elderly folks who probably shouldn't be behind the wheel anymore. But nothing could have prepared me for what happened last Tuesday. I started this job right after getting my certification in driver education. My dad always said I had the patience of a saint, which is probably why I lasted this long in a job where most people see me as the enemy standing between them and their freedom. Over the years, I've learned to read people pretty well. The moment someone walks through those doors, I can usually tell if they're going to be a problem. That morning started like any other. I had 3 road tests scheduled before lunch. The first 2 went smoothly: a 16-year-old girl who was nervous but competent, and a 20-something guy retaking his test after failing the parallel parking last time. He passed this round. Then came my 11:30 appointment. A teenage boy walked in, probably around 17, followed by what I assumed was his mother. The kid seemed normal enough, a little anxious, which is completely expected. But the woman behind him had this look in her eyes that immediately put me on alert. She was dressed in workout clothes and had that haircut. You know the one. The boy approached my desk first. Boy, hi, I'm here for my driving test. I have an appointment at 11:30. Me, perfect. Let me just check your paperwork and we'll get started. I was reviewing his documents when his mother stepped forward. Karen, excuse me, but this is ridiculous. My son has been driving for 2 years already. He's been driving me around, going to the store, picking up his little sister from school. He's a better driver than half the people on the road. Me, I understand, ma'am, but everyone needs to take the road test to get their license. It's state law. Karen, state law? That's absurd. My son has more driving experience than you probably do. How old are you anyway? 25? 30? My son has been driving since he was 15. The kid looked mortified. I felt bad for him. This was supposed to be his big day, and his mother was already making a scene. "Me, ma'am, I need to take your son through the standard driving test. It usually takes about 20 to 30 minutes. Karen, 20 to 30 minutes. We don't have time for this nonsense. I have a yoga class at noon, and then I have to pick up my daughter from piano lessons. Can't you just give him the license? I'm telling you, he can drive better than the examiner." "Me? I am the examiner, ma'am. And no, I cannot just give him a license without completing the test." "Karen, this is discrimination. You're discriminating against us because we're successful people with busy schedules." By now, other people in the waiting area were starting to stare. My supervisor was helping someone at the next counter, but I could see her glancing over. "Boy, Mom, please. I just want to take the test normally." "Karen, no, this is principle now. You've been driving for 2 years without a single accident. Not one. Meanwhile, this place hands out licenses to any idiot who can barely see over the steering wheel." She turned back to me. "Karen, I demand to speak to your manager. This is unacceptable. My son shouldn't have to waste his time proving he can do something he's been doing perfectly for years." "Me, ma'am, I understand your frustration, but the road test is required for everyone. No exceptions. Your son seems like a responsible young man, and I'm sure he'll do fine." That's when things really went off the rails. "Karen, fine? Fine. He doesn't need to do fine because he's already perfect. He's been driving my Mercedes, my husband's BMW, and our family SUV without any problems. He parallel parks better than I do." The boy was now completely red in the face. "Boy, Mom, can you please just let me take the test? Everyone is staring." "Karen, I don't care who's staring. This is about standing up for what's right." She dug into her purse and pulled out a set of car keys, holding them up like some kind of evidence. "Karen, see these keys? These are to a $60,000 Mercedes. You think I would let someone who can't drive touch my car?" "Me, ma'am, I really need you to calm down. We can reschedule if this isn't a good time." "Karen, reschedule. Reschedule. We are not rescheduling anything. You are going to march outside. Sit in that passenger seat for exactly 5 minutes, just to make it look official, and then come back in here and give my son his license." "Me, that's not how this works. I need to evaluate his driving skills, his knowledge of traffic laws, and his ability to handle various driving situations safely." "Karen, his driving skills? His driving skills? He has been driving me to the country club every weekend for 6 months. He navigates downtown traffic better than most adults." At this point, my supervisor had finished with her customer and was walking over. "Supervisor, is everything okay here?" "Karen, no, everything is not okay. Your employee here is refusing to do her job. She won't give my son his license even though he's clearly qualified." "Supervisor, ma'am, all applicants must complete the road test. There are no exceptions to this policy." "Karen, policy. Policy? This isn't policy, this is harassment. My son is a better driver than both of you combined." That's when she completely lost it. She took those car keys and hurled them across the office. They hit the wall behind the information desk with a loud crash, and everyone in the waiting room turned to look. "Karen, fine, if you want to play games, we'll play games. I'm calling my lawyer. This is discrimination, and I'm going to sue this entire department. You'll be hearing from my attorney by the end of the week." The boy looked like he wanted to disappear into the floor. "Boy, Mom, please stop. You're embarrassing me." "Karen, embarrassing you? I'm defending you. These people think they can push us around just because they work for the government." My supervisor stepped in. "Supervisor, ma'am, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. You're disrupting other customers, and throwing objects is not acceptable behavior." "Karen, leave? Leave? I'm not going anywhere until my son gets his license." "Supervisor, your son is welcome to reschedule his test for another day, but you are not welcome back in this building. Security will escort you out if necessary." That got her attention. She looked around and seemed to realize for the first time that everyone was staring at her. "Karen, this isn't over. You have no idea who you're dealing with. My husband knows people. Important people. You'll regret treating us this way." She grabbed her purse and stormed toward the exit, then turned back. "Karen, come on, we're leaving." The boy looked at me desperately. "Boy, can I please just take the test? I can drive myself. I have my permit and a licensed driver can supervise me. My dad is waiting in the parking lot." My supervisor nodded. "Supervisor, of course. Let's step outside and get you set up with the examiner." As we walked toward the exit, we could see Karen in the parking lot, apparently arguing with a man who must have been her husband. Even from a distance, we could hear her voice getting louder. The road test itself was completely normal. The kid was actually a pretty good driver, cautious, followed all the rules, handled the parallel parking without any problems. He passed easily. When we got back to the building, his father was waiting inside. "Father, I am so sorry about my wife. She gets a little worked up sometimes." "Me, no problem. Your son did great on his test." "Father, thank God. If he had failed after all that drama, I don't think I could have lived it down." As I was filling out the paperwork, the boy came up to my desk. "Boy, thank you for still letting me take the test. I was afraid my mom ruined my chances." "Me, not at all. You earned this license fair and square." But the story doesn't end there. About 20 minutes later, just as I was getting ready for my lunch break, Karen came storming back into the building. Apparently, she had been waiting in the parking lot to see if her son passed, and when he came out with his temporary license, she decided she had been right all along. "Karen, see? I told you he would pass. He didn't even need that ridiculous test. You wasted everyone's time for nothing." My supervisor appeared almost instantly. "Supervisor, ma'am, I told you that you're not welcome in this building. I'm calling security." "Karen, security? For what? My son passed your stupid test. That proves I was right. He never needed to take it in the first place." "Me, actually." "Ma'am, the test is designed to ensure that drivers can handle various situations safely. Your son passed because he demonstrated those skills during the test." "Karen, he demonstrated those skills because he already knew how to drive. That's what I was trying to tell you people." At this point, security did arrive. 2 officers who apparently knew Karen by reputation. "Security officer, ma'am, you need to come with us." "Karen, this is ridiculous. All I did was advocate for my son." As they were escorting her out, she turned back one more time. "Karen, you people have no idea how to do your jobs. My son wasted 30 minutes proving something we already knew." After she left, the whole office was quiet for a moment. Then one of the other customers started clapping, and soon everyone was applauding. My supervisor came over to my desk. "Supervisor, well, that was interesting. How did the kid do on his test?" "Me, he did fine. Really good, actually. Too bad his mom couldn't just let him have his moment." "Father, she means well. She has strong opinions about efficiency." The teenage boy got his official license in the mail a week later. His father brought him back to thank us and to apologize again for his wife's behavior. The kid seemed much more relaxed without his mother there. As for Karen's threatened lawsuit, we never heard from any lawyers. Apparently, even her husband thought she was being ridiculous. But I did hear through the grapevine that she got banned from the yoga studio for arguing with the instructor about the proper way to do downward dog. Some people just can't help themselves. Story 3. I've been working as a triage nurse at County General Hospital for about 8 years now. I've seen pretty much everything you can imagine walk through those emergency room doors. Drug overdoses, car accidents, heart attacks, you name it. But what happened last Tuesday still makes my blood boil when I think about it. My shift started normally enough. It was a busy evening, as they usually are. We had the usual mix of patients, some genuine emergencies, some people who probably should have gone to urgent care instead, and the occasional person who clearly just needed their regular doctor, but couldn't wait until morning. Around 9 p.m., things got hectic fast. An ambulance rushed in with a middle-aged man who was having what looked like a massive heart attack. The paramedics were doing chest compressions as they wheeled him through the doors. His wife was running alongside the gurney, tears streaming down her face. The man, "I can't breathe. My chest." His wife, "Please, somebody help him." I immediately started coordinating with the emergency team. This was clearly a code red situation. We needed to get him into surgery immediately. While the doctors were examining him and preparing for emergency intervention, I was trying to calm his wife and get the necessary information for his medical record. That's when she walked in. This woman, probably in her 40s, came stomping through the automatic doors like she owned the place. She was wearing expensive-looking workout clothes and had that particular haircut, you know the one. She marched straight up to the reception desk where my colleague was trying to handle the intake for the heart attack patient. "Karen, excuse me, I need to be seen right now." My colleague looked up from her computer screen, clearly stressed from the emergency situation we were dealing with. "Colleague, ma'am, please take a seat and we'll get to you as soon as possible. We're dealing with a life-threatening emergency right now." "Karen, I don't care about that. I stubbed my toe really badly and it's been throbbing for hours. I pay my taxes and I demand to be seen immediately." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I walked over to see what was going on, and this woman was actually pointing at the man who was clearly dying on the gurney about 20 feet away. "Karen, that guy doesn't even look that bad. He's just lying there. I'm in actual pain here. Ma'am, that patient is having a heart attack. He needs immediate medical attention or he could die." "Karen, well, I could die too. What if my toe is broken? What if it gets infected and I get gangrene?" She actually said this with a straight face, while a man was literally fighting for his life nearby. "Ma'am, I need you to take a seat in the waiting area. We operate on a triage system here, which means the most serious cases get treated first." "Karen, that's discrimination. I'm a paying customer and a taxpayer. That man probably doesn't even have insurance. I bet he's one of those freeloaders who comes to the emergency room for everything." The man's wife heard this and turned around, her face red with anger and grief. "Wife, how dare you? My husband owns his own business and we have excellent insurance. He's having a heart attack." "Karen, oh please, he's probably faking it to get drugs or something. Look at him just lying there." That's when I lost it. I've dealt with entitled people before, but this was beyond anything I'd ever experienced. "Ma'am, I'm going to need you to lower your voice and take a seat, or I'll have security escort you out." "Karen, you can't kick me out. I know my rights. I want to speak to your manager right now." I am the senior nurse on duty tonight. You're being disruptive during a medical emergency." Just then, the heart attack patient went into cardiac arrest. The monitors started beeping frantically and the whole emergency team rushed over. We were literally trying to save this man's life, and this woman was still complaining about her toe. "Karen, see? Now you're all just standing around that faker. I've been waiting for 10 whole minutes." The man's wife broke down sobbing as we worked on her husband. The woman actually had the audacity to tap her on the shoulder. "Karen, excuse me. Your husband is taking up way too much of the staff's time. Some of us have real problems here." That's when I called security. 2 guards came over immediately. "Security guard, ma'am, you need to come with us." "Karen, this is outrageous. I'm going to sue this hospital. You'll be hearing from my lawyer." As security was escorting her out, she was still yelling about her toe and threatening to get everyone fired. The waiting room had gone completely silent, except for the sounds of the medical equipment and the wife's quiet crying. About 20 minutes later, we managed to stabilize the heart attack patient and get him into surgery. His wife was relieved but still shaken up by everything that had happened. "Wife, I'm so sorry that woman was so horrible to you all." "Don't worry about it. We see all types in here. The important thing is that your husband is going to be okay." 2 hours later, the woman's husband came out of surgery successfully. The doctor said he'd make a full recovery, but if we had delayed treatment any longer, it could have been fatal. As I was finishing up my shift the next morning, my supervisor called me into her office. Apparently, the woman had actually followed through on her threat to complain. She'd called the hospital administrator demanding that I be fired and claiming we had refused to treat her because of discrimination. "Supervisor, don't worry about it. I've already spoken to administration and reviewed the security footage. We're actually considering filing a restraining order against her to prevent her from coming back." "Me, what happened with her toe anyway?" "Supervisor, she went to another emergency room across town. Turns out she had a minor bruise. They gave her an ice pack and sent her home." The best part came a week later. The man who had the heart attack sent a huge fruit basket to our department with a thank you card. He mentioned that he'd heard about what happened and wanted to thank us for prioritizing his medical emergency over someone's stubbed toe complaint. He'd made a full recovery and was back to running his small business. I kept that thank you card in my locker for months. It reminded me why I became a nurse in the first place, to help people in their most vulnerable moments, even when other people try to make our jobs harder. Sometimes I wonder if that woman ever realized how close she came to witnessing someone die because she couldn't wait her turn for a bruised toe. Probably not. People like that rarely have that kind of self-awareness. But at least the story had a happy ending for the person who actually needed help. Story 4. I've been taking my golden retriever to Riverside Dog Park for about 2 years now. After my accident last year left me with mobility issues and seizure disorder, my doctor recommended I get a service dog. Training with my golden retriever was intensive 6 months of professional training to help him recognize the signs of an oncoming seizure and guide me to safety. He's not just my pet, he's literally a medical necessity that keeps me safe every day. The dog park has always been our quiet place. We usually go during off-peak hours because crowds can be overwhelming for both of us. My service dog needs to stay focused on me, and too much chaos makes it harder for him to do his job. Most people at the park are respectful when they see his service vest and understand he's working. This particular afternoon, the park was busier than usual. Families were out enjoying the weekend weather. I was sitting on a bench while my service dog rested beside me. His vest clearly visible with "Service Dog Do Not Pet" written on both sides. He was alert but calm, occasionally checking on me like he's trained to do. That's when I noticed this woman with a young boy, maybe 7 or 8 years old, and a large mixed-breed dog that looked like it had some pit bull in it. The dog was pulling hard on its leash and barking aggressively at other dogs. Most pet owners were giving them a wide berth. The little boy kept pointing at my service dog and asking his mother something. I couldn't hear what he was saying, but I could see her looking in our direction. Then they started walking over. "Karen, excuse me, is that your dog?" "Me, yes, he's my service dog." "Karen, well, my son really wants to play with him. He's been asking for a dog like that for months." "Me, I'm sorry, but he's working right now. Service dogs can't be petted or played with when they're on duty." I thought that would be the end of it. Most people understand when you explain the situation, but she just stared at me like I'd said something completely unreasonable. "Karen, but you're just sitting there. The dog isn't doing anything important." "Me, he's trained to monitor me for medical episodes. Even when it looks like he's resting, he's working." "Karen, that's ridiculous. My son has anxiety, and he needs a therapy dog way more than you do. You look perfectly fine to me." The ignorance in that statement hit me like a truck. Just because my disability isn't immediately visible doesn't mean it's not real or serious. "Me, ma'am, this is a medical service animal. He's specifically trained for my condition and legally protected. I can't just let random people play with him." "Karen, this is so unfair. My child has special needs too. He deserves to have a dog like this." Her voice was getting louder and other people were starting to look over. My service dog was picking up on the tension and moved closer to me, which is exactly what he's supposed to do. Me, if your son needs a service dog, there are proper channels to go through. You can talk to your doctor about getting one trained specifically for his needs. Karen, that takes too long and costs too much money. This is discrimination against children. Me, I'm sorry, but my answer is no. Please respect that this is a working service animal. That's when she completely lost it. Karen, fine, if you won't share, then I'll just take him. My son needs this dog more than you do. She actually reached for my service dog's leash. I couldn't believe what was happening. Me, don't touch my dog. You can't just take someone's service animal. Karen, watch me. This is for a child with special needs. She grabbed for the leash again, and my service dog did exactly what he was trained to do. He positioned himself between me and the threat while staying calm. But her aggressive behavior was setting off all the other dogs in the area. Me, you need to back away right now, or I'm calling the police. Karen, call whoever you want. I'm taking this dog for my son. That's when she made the worst decision possible. In her rage, she dropped her own dog's leash. The aggressive mixed breed she'd been barely controlling immediately lunged toward us. My service dog, still trying to protect me, had to break his calm training to defend both of us. Other dogs in the park started barking and running. Complete chaos erupted. Several other dog owners rushed over to help. Someone managed to grab her loose dog before it could attack anyone. Another person was already on the phone with park security. Karen, this is all your fault. If you had just shared the dog, none of this would have happened. Me, you unleashed an aggressive dog in a public park because I wouldn't let you steal my medical equipment. Park security, ma'am, we need you to leash your dog immediately and come with us. Karen, I'm not going anywhere. This person is discriminating against my disabled child. Security, ma'am, attempting to take someone's service animal is a federal crime. You're going to need to come with us now. The security officer was clearly familiar with service dog laws. Karen's face went white when she realized the seriousness of what she'd tried to do. Karen, I was just trying to help my son. He really needs a dog. Security, there are legal ways to obtain service animals. Trying to take someone else's isn't one of them. As they escorted her and her child out of the park, she kept yelling about how unfair the system was and how her son deserved better treatment. The irony was completely lost on her. After they left, several other dog owners came over to check on us. One woman, who turned out to be a veterinarian, looked over my service dog to make sure he wasn't hurt. Another person had recorded the whole incident on their phone and offered to send it to me as evidence. The park manager showed up about 20 minutes later to get my statement. He was horrified when I explained what happened. Manager, I want you to know that woman has been banned from all city parks. We take service animal rights very seriously here. A week later, I got a call from the police. Apparently, Karen had tried to file a complaint against me for refusing to accommodate a disabled child. When they explained that attempting to confiscate a service dog was a federal offense that could result in jail time, she quickly dropped her complaint. My service dog and I still go to the park, but now other regular visitors keep an eye out for us. Sometimes the worst behavior from entitled people can actually bring a community closer together. Story 5. I've been a wedding coordinator for 12 years, and I thought I'd seen every possible disaster. Drunk uncles giving inappropriate speeches, flower girls having meltdowns, photographers showing up late, you name it. I've handled it. But nothing prepared me for the chaos that unfolded at the Henderson wedding last Saturday. I got into wedding planning right after college when my sister asked me to help coordinate her big day. I discovered I had a knack for managing the million little details that make or break a wedding. Over the years, I've learned that the key to success is anticipating problems before they happen and staying calm when the unexpected hits. The Henderson wedding was supposed to be straightforward. A beautiful outdoor ceremony followed by a reception at the local country club. The bride and groom were lovely people, both teachers who'd been together since high school. They weren't asking for anything fancy, just a nice celebration with their family and friends. The ceremony went off without a hitch. The weather was perfect, the flowers looked gorgeous, and the bride's grandmother managed to walk down the aisle despite her recent hip surgery. Everyone was in great spirits as we moved to the reception hall for dinner and dancing. I was checking on the catering when I heard a commotion near the entrance. A woman I didn't recognize was arguing with one of the ushers who was checking names at the door. "Karen, this is ridiculous. I shouldn't need to be on some list. I'm practically family." "Usher, ma'am, I'm sorry, but I can only let in people who are on the guest list." I walked over to see what was happening. The woman was probably in her 40s, wearing a bright pink dress that was definitely too flashy for a wedding guest, and she had that look of someone who wasn't used to being told no. "Me, hi there, I'm the wedding coordinator. Is there a problem?" "Karen, yes, there's a problem. This young man won't let me into my friend's wedding reception." "Me, okay, what's the name? I can check the list." "Karen, I don't need to be on a list. The bride and I go way back. We used to work together at the department store." I glanced at the usher, who shrugged. I pulled out my phone and texted the maid of honor to ask if she knew who this woman was. "Me, I'm sure we can sort this out. Why don't you give me your name and I'll check with the bride." "Karen, my name is irrelevant. The bride knows who I am. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm missing the party." She tried to push past the usher, but he blocked her path. "Usher, ma'am, I really can't let you in without confirmation." "Karen, this is discrimination. You're keeping me out because of how I look." My phone buzzed. The maid of honor had texted back, "Never heard of her. Bride says definitely not invited." "Me, I'm sorry, but you're not on the guest list, and the bride doesn't recognize your name. This is a private event." "Karen, private event? It's a wedding. Weddings are supposed to be celebrations of love. You can't exclude people from love." "Me, actually, we can. This is the couple's special day, and they've chosen to celebrate with specific people." That's when she completely lost it. "Karen, fine, I'll show you how it's done." Before I could react, she shoved past both of us and marched straight into the reception hall. I rushed after her, but she was moving fast and seemed to know exactly where she was going. The reception was in full swing. The bride and groom were making their rounds, greeting guests and taking photos. Most people were either eating dinner or chatting at their tables. The DJ was playing soft background music during the meal. Karen headed straight for the DJ booth. "Karen, excuse me. I need you to play my song right now." "DJ, I'm sorry, but I'm following a specific playlist provided by the bride and groom." "Karen, I don't care about their playlist. I want you to play My Heart Will Go On by Celine Dion. It's my favorite song, and I want to dance to it." "DJ ma'am, we're in the middle of dinner service. The dancing portion comes later." "Karen, later? Later? I don't have all night. Play my song now." By this point, people were starting to notice the disturbance. The bride's father was walking over, looking concerned. "Bride's father, is everything okay here?" "Me, we have an uninvited guest who's causing some problems." "Karen, uninvited? Uninvited. I'm here to celebrate love. That should be invitation enough." She turned away from the DJ booth and scanned the room. Her eyes locked onto the bridal table, where the bride and groom were sitting with their parents and grandparents. "Karen, there they are. I need to congratulate the happy couple." Before anyone could stop her, she marched over to the bridal table. The bride's 90-year-old grandmother was sitting right next to the bride, beaming with pride and carefully eating her soup. "Karen, excuse me, sweetie, I need this seat." "Grandmother, oh, I'm sorry, dear, but this is the family table." "Karen, exactly, and I'm practically family." She grabbed the elderly woman's arm and started trying to pull her out of the chair. "Karen, come on, you can sit anywhere. I need to be next to the bride so we can catch up." The grandmother looked terrified and confused. The bride immediately stood up. Bride, what are you doing? Let go of my grandmother. Karen, oh honey, congratulations, I'm so happy for you. Remember me from the department store? Bride, I have no idea who you are. Let go of my grandmother right now. The groom was on his feet too, along with both sets of parents. Other guests were starting to stand up and move closer. Karen, don't be silly. We worked together for months. I helped you pick out that blue dress for your date. Bride, I've never worked at a department store in my life. That's when the bride's father stepped in. Bride's father, ma'am, you need to leave immediately. Karen, leave. But I just got here. I haven't even eaten yet, and I still haven't heard my song. She was still holding onto the grandmother's arm. The poor woman was shaking. Groom, get your hands off my grandmother right now. Karen, your grandmother. She's not your grandmother, she's hers. Groom, that's my grandmother too now. We just got married. Finally, the best man and two of the groomsmen moved in to physically remove Karen from the elderly woman. She let go, but she wasn't done. Karen, this is unbelievable. I came here to celebrate with you people, and this is how you treat me. Where's the love? Where's the joy? Bride, the joy was here until you showed up. Security. I had already called the venue security, and they arrived just as Karen was making another attempt to sit down at the bridal table. This time she was targeting the groom's grandfather. Security guard, ma'am, you need to come with us. Karen, I'm not going anywhere. I have every right to be here. Security guard, no ma'am, you don't. This is a private event and you're trespassing. As they escorted her toward the exit, she kept shouting over her shoulder. Karen, you people don't know how to party. This is the most boring wedding I've ever been to, and your DJ has terrible taste in music. The entire reception hall was silent as she was removed. Then the bride's grandmother, still shaking slightly, looked up at everyone staring at them. Grandmother, well, that was exciting. Can we get back to the soup now? Everyone burst into laughter, and just like that, the mood was restored. The bride hugged her grandmother, and the groom made sure his grandfather was okay. The rest of the evening went perfectly. The DJ even made a joke about it during the dancing portion, saying he was taking requests, but only from actual invited guests. And yes, someone did request, "My Heart Will Go On," just to spite Karen, but thankfully she was long gone by then. The bride sent me a thank you card a week later, mentioning how impressed she was with how quickly we handled the situation. She also mentioned that they'd heard through mutual friends that Karen had tried the same stunt at 2 other weddings in the past month. Some people really have no shame.